keeps the party going. Brandon E brings the heat. We don't know how to speak. Running wild on you, brother. We're over the top. Rocking it back to the vintage scene. Thursdays at 7 p.m. Central. With epic thumbnails from the vids. It's a must-see. Gonna bring you the best. Legends you remember from the ring and silver screen. We're over the top. Get ready for a good time.
What's up, everybody? It's Tony, aka Friday the 14th. As you can see, I'm solo again this week. You could tell in the description for this week's episode, it is our most popular clips throughout the 2 years of filming Over the Top with Chad and Tony. What I mean by most popular, our most viewed clips. So throughout social media, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all that's mixed in here with all that. We couldn't get in studio with each other this past weekend, so luckily we have so many episodes we can do episodes like this to fill in the blanks and everything. But shout out to Chad and Chance for that. I mean, with over 100 episodes, we have a lot of content that we can pull from. But like I said, this coming up weekend, hopefully, fingers crossed, I know we're getting BJ in the studio. Hopefully we can get Brandon in there too, get the Fad Five together. It's been a while since we've been able to do that, but shout out to those two guys. They're heavily influenced in this week's episode. They're in a ton of these clips. So is Jordan. I think Mel may be in one or two. Who knows? I'm not sure. I pulled clips from everywhere, so it's all a blur to me. But yeah, shout out to the sponsors, Revolution One Media, Trouble Spirits. Like I said, next week we'll be back in studio for episode 111. Like I said, this week you got episode 110, our most popular clips on social media. Sounds like a good name. We have this motherfucker.
The match was fire.
That's what it was.
I do have an issue with the beginning of the match.
What was it?
Why? It's Bloodline rules. Why was the Bloodline not out there? Or have Roman Reigns do something, which Vince Russo talked about this too. Like, why would you not have him do an interview and say, you know what, I'll go out there and I'll beat you like The Rock beat you last night?
Yeah, there was no explanation.
Yeah.
That's what I didn't like either. Yeah.
Well, like you said too, it would have made a lot of sense to have the Bloodline out there with Cody with his head on a swivel, just constantly looking around.
But it would have been a totally different match if they done that. I like how they done the match. I just wish they would have
emphasized the Bloodline part of it.
Explanation.
I mean, even when they brought Ultimate Warrior to WCW, you could throw that in.
Oh yeah, that's a fail. Yeah, that's a complete fail. Yeah, that's a colossal fail. Yeah,
the biggest fail ever maybe in wrestling, because think about when you bring Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior back over to WCW, and that build was awful. The whole mirror thing.
That also was the downfall of British Bulldog, because he fell on that trap.
Oh,
and that's what caused his back injuries.
Yep.
All that for the Ultimate Warrior.
That didn't give a shit about you anyway.
No.
Yeah.
Or anybody.
The coolest thing about 2K, because I played 2K heavy, like 14, 15, 16. I'd get 2K WWE, 2K NBA every year.
Yeah.
And then I stopped for 4 or 5 years, and I got 20, I think. And then I hadn't played it till this year, 24. And dude, it's insane. I mean, there's a mode where you can relive the WrestleMania moments. I have to play it on easy right now until I learn everything.
Yeah.
But like Corey Graves does like the ring announcing during like the old matches, so because you can't go back and get like
Yeah.
you know.
That was my next question. If you were able to unlock certain people, and
You can unlock tons of like variations of characters, and there's a lot of characters that you can like get, like you can get 98 Kane or something.
Oh, okay.
Or you can get like certain versions of people. But dude, you can literally do universe mode, and like right now I went and downloaded a bunch of people that, you know, from like AEW.
Yeah.
Did you get the Chad Arms character?
I haven't got Chad Arms. Apparently somebody created a Chad Arms character.
Yeah,
looks just like you.
He looks just like me. Shout out to her. Bradshaw's clothesline from hell is one of the most aggressive things I've ever seen.
Oh, most definitely.
Because he was trying to take your face off.
Imagine having to go up against him and Ron Simmons as a tag team. You're getting the clothesline from hell, and then you're getting that spine buster.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, nothing.
They made a few people's first day on the job be their last day on the job.
I think Public Enemy was one of them that they did that too.
Which I mean, they were awful.
Yeah, I was never a fan of public.
But I mean, as awful as they were, they worked everywhere. WCW, they got Marlena,
old Terry Runnels.
Terry Runnels.
Man, she's been around for a minute too.
Long time.
Of all the divas and the females in wrestling, Marlena was always my favorite, bro. Yeah, she always was.
Coming to the ring smoking a cigar with gold dust.
Well, then you had the fucking Brawl for All. That's the worst. That's the best and worst example of when wrestling gets real, because people got seriously injured. Dr. Death's career got ended.
Yeah,
And then
have a match in maybe 1 or 2 matches before that, and then
Bart Gunn's career got ended.
Yeah,
with
Butterbean.
With Butterbean, because it was. They were mad. They can say whatever they want, but they were mad that he beat Dr. Death.
Yep.
And they made him think he was going to beat Butterbean, and they lined him up, and Butterbean almost killed him.
I was just scrolling through Facebook and saw Yokozuna almost kill a jobber, almost unalive a jobber with the bonsai drop.
I think you said this in the group text. He literally smashes the dude's face.
The jobber, I don't know the jobber's name, but he was apparently talking back to Mr. Fuji, and Yokozuna didn't take too kindly to that, and I mean, dropped all of his weight. And then after it happens, you can hear him like telling the referee to get Yokozuna off of him, because he sat there.
Just sitting on him.
Yeah, he sat there a little while until Mr. Fuji told him, go ahead and jump off.
That's wild. To be a jobber in the late 80s and early 90s and mid 90s was no fun.
No.
I mean, I'll throw one right out. We've talked about it before, where Perry Saturn and Mike Bell, that whole instance where that shit got real in the middle of a match, where Mike Bell accidentally drops Saturn on his head on a suplex, and then Perry Saturn just goes absolutely ape shit and beats the hell out of him.
Yeah.
And then is forced to do the gimmick with the mop the rest of his career with the WWE.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's a crazy one. Wrestling gets real too with like the King of the Ring '98.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say whatever you want to say, bro, but when Undertaker throws him off the fucking cell,
I thought
there's nothing. There's no way. Even if it's like they knew they were going to throw each other off, like, but you're throwing a person higher than the roof of this house that we're sitting in.
And the fact that he just barely catches that table enough, just
it's insane. Dude.
The first time I saw it, I legit thought that he was dead.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt.
The King.
But recall seeing that, I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and then, I mean,
and for him to get stretchered out and then come back.
And then get choke slammed and go
through the top of the roof again,
which wasn't supposed to happen.
No, and the chair hit him in the face, or hit him in the mouth whenever he comes in.
His tooth coming up through his lip.
Mr. Paul Roma.
Oh,
dude, I don't hate any.
The Four Horsemen does not claim Paul Roma.
I hate Paul Roma more than I hate any wrestler. Ever.
I can understand that.
I hate him.
He had a tag.
hated him.
Grab that mic. Grab that mic. Oh shit.
Brandon knows why I hate him. Paul Roma walked around like he was God's gift to women in the wrestling business. Yep. Paul Roma couldn't out-wrestle me.
Preach.
Paul Roma couldn't out-wrestle a paper sack.
Preach.
He walked, and they had the nerve to put him in the Four Horsemen.
The nerve.
And none of y'all said that was one of the best inclinations of the Horsemen.
Absolutely not.
You had a different one.
I did. I had,
but it didn't have Paul Roma.
No.
Paul Roma fucking sucked. Hercules was the shit.
Yes.
You ruined the tag team there. You injured people.
Yep.
You're a piece of shit, Paul Roma, and whoop me, Paul Roma.
You ain't gonna whoop no motherfucking body.
Wait,
you know why? You know why you're not going to nobody? Because I'm here. And I'll whoop your ass.
Paul, he had a tag
Roma's
team
pizza.
partner.
That was the surprise of all of WrestleMania, in my opinion.
Has she not been around?
No.
Oh no, she's been gone for a while.
Yeah, ever since the whole Vince stuff popped off.
Anytime
Before
Vince
then,
comes,
she stepped away.
Yeah, anytime
Vince
Vince
came
comes
back.
Ever since all the shit with Vince.
When Vince came back with the mustache,
Yeah.
Stephanie had stepped away from her position.
First of all, Grand Theft Auto boss. is what he was.
That's the final boss.
He looked like Bowser. Or something. Like Bowser was a person. That's what he looked like.
Oh man.
She left from embarrassment. That's what.
But, I mean,
It made sense because we didn't talk about it, but Triple H came out at
Yeah.
the beginning of night one, so it made sense for Stephanie to come out night two. But I didn't know she'd been around.
She'd been gone. Like
Yeah.
she stepped away from the CEO position.
Go ahead.
ECW One Night Stand 2006.
Oh yeah.
only specifically just for Cena and RVD.
Oh yeah.
That the build up for that, and I'll never forget like Randy Orton walking to the ring for his match with Rey Mysterio, and he was just like, you know, arrogant. Like he was WWE guy, he was the ultimate heel, right? But that RVD and Cena match, man, like there was a good chance that RVD was not going to win that match.
Yep.
And they were dead serious. Like that, the roof would have went off that place had he not won that
That's
match.
sincerely, it's for me. All seriousness, is my two favorite performances by both of them.
Yeah.
that's my favorite match of John
RVD
Cena
is
and RVD.
phenomenal, dude. And that was when he was peak RVD.
He was in SmackDown this past
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah.
Peak RVD.
I just watched the A&E or the biography that they released on RVD.
Oh, it's great.
it is.
He was
Yeah, I
talking
didn't see
about that
one.
match and stuff.
That was special.
Here, I don't know if we have. Beavis and Butthead are the original reaction channels.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were the first reactors.
Absolutely.
They were the first video reactors. dude.
Absolutely.
They were the fuck. Like that's
I love that stuff. That's my favorite part about the show.
Yeah, that's what
honestly.
sucks
Yeah.
when you bought the DVDs
Yeah.
because it didn't have
Couldn't
any
do
of the
it.
videos.
Absolutely.
Oh, really?
Because of the
No.
licensing.
Oh,
So like
yeah.
they would just have the story parts, which were funny, but
That
you
was what I
watched Beavis and
wanted,
Butthead for the reaction.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I love that show.
But
like the Diamond Stud in WCW, it just didn't get over in WCW.
It's weird because I like the Diamond Stud more now than I did when I was younger.
it was good to see Kevin Nash even when he went over to WWF. I mean, Diesel, the gimmick was,
Yeah.
It was,
but
it's
he was a bad son of a
mid-90s,
bitch. No, yeah, he was the
mid-90s
coolest
WWF.
in that.
But he made it cool.
Yeah, Kevin Nash made
The
it work.
Kevin Nash made the Diesel character cool as hell.
Until he became just Kevin Nash with NWO and stuff. Everything he got thrown at him was, I mean, kind of just cornball.
Yeah.
It was just a bad
He just made it
time
work.
in the industry in general. There really wasn't many cool characters during that era.
Yeah.
No.
Everything had a theme to it.
It was a theme that shouldn't have. Brutal, my friends. Brutal.
Judgment Day 2002, Undertaker choke slamming Hulk Hogan in probably the
Oh,
worst
gosh.
choke slam of all
Dude,
time.
that is so
Of all
I,
time.
Yeah, I think he may have got
However-
half an inch.
I will say,
He sandbagged it.
I've made a lot of money off of that DVD
Yeah.
multiple times.
Really?
Yep.
So that DVD was a WWF Shop Zone exclusive for the website. Judgment Day 2002, the one in Tennessee, right? You could only get it from the website. McKay's used to have, and so it was out of print. McKay's had one sealed that still had the PlayStation 2 sticker on it. And I think we sold it
Yeah.
for $170, bro. It was $2 at McKay's.
Yeah. You found him like multiple
3 or
times.
4 months later, I found another one at McKay's that was opened, same way, because it was you could only get it from the website. They didn't.
But what website again?
It was when WWF had their shop zone.
Okay.
Yeah. It was like 02, 03. You could
Okay.
only buy it off there, and somebody, I don't know if it was somebody's baby mama that was mad at them and sold all their DVDs.
I'm going to throw out one of my favorite heels, Mr. Perfect Kurt Hennig.
Ultimate.
Yes,
Ultimate.
thanks.
You know,
Just-
one thing I love about there was a time period in the beginning, when we all started watching wrestling. There was a time period where you could distinctively tell the difference between a heel and a face.
Oh, yeah.
Because everyone was going against like Hogan or Flair played the ultimate heel, of course, but there was a separation. You could tell that these guys were bad guys for a reason, and Hogan was the ultimate good guy, and everyone who associated with Hogan were all good guys as well. Hennig was one of those guys where he could go either way, right? And but he was always, to me, better as a heel.
Yeah.
Just the arrogance and the cockiness and the swagger that he had was like over the top heelish.
I think we can all agree that he is a heel that we all liked.
Oh, definitely.
yeah, most definitely.
Sure.
And he was paired with the ultimate heel manager,
Bobby
too.
Heenan.
Bobby Heenan.
Yeah, definitely.
So, I mean, that just made it even better. What about old Ken Shamrock holding the title one time for 125 days?
Yeah, Ken Shamrock had a good little run there in WWE, and he was solid, man.
Dude, he made a solid transition coming over from the UFC
He definitely did.
into into wrestling and early days of TNA. He was an NWA world champion.
Yeah.
So, but he made the transition look real simple, just like Kurt Angle did. That and Chappelle Show.
Yep.
When Chappelle Show came out, everybody was glued to Chappelle Show.
I
'Cause he
remember-
was getting away with so much on cable television.
Well, I remember too that was the highest selling DVD that we had at Media Play. Because
Really?
when I worked there, bro, like that's when people were buying movies like it was crazy. Other than the only thing that was coming close to, but we sold hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Chappelle Show season 1 when it first came
Yep.
out.
I had it.
Yeah, other than the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, the first one. I would say that the Chappelle Show by far like sold the most of all the.
Brock Lesnar is also someone that's involved in quite a few of them.
I had him, one of his on my list.
Actually, there was one with Randy Orton. I don't think it was an actual shoot. I think it was planned, but he delivered some mean elbows.
Is that where he busted him open and everything?
Yeah.
That's when Jericho met Lesnar behind the curtain, and Jericho was ready to.
Yeah.
It's like he's probably gonna kill me, but I was gonna go down fighting.
Yep.
I remember watching that though, and it looked like it. That may have been one of those live streams that we did at one time. Do you remember that?
Which one?
When Lesnar busted open Randy Orton with the forearms or the elbows and everything.
It was brutal, dude.
Yeah.
Busting them open.
That's why I don't feel like it worked in WWE. Had they brought in Bischoff with Hall, Nash, and Hogan when they brought in the NWO, it would have worked better.
Yeah.
I think.
WWE.
But if Bischoff would have been a part of that version
For
of
sure.
it, I feel like it would have had more impact.
Well, yeah, because he's the one you hated. He's
Who
the one
better
you
to
hated
come
the
in and
most.
infiltrate this company than the person who beat the brakes off of it for 83 weeks? And then you're bringing them in to destroy what you built. Why not bring Eric Bischoff in at that point? You know what I mean? It just made sense.
I'm digging through the closet and everything, and see the Punky Brewster doll, just like always on Child's Play, how it happens. And then I'm like freaking out because the doll's in there. So I tell my mom, like, hey, you gotta get rid of this thing. No more Punky Brewster doll in this house. So
Okay, lay the law down,
Yeah.
Chance.
so she acts like she said, I got rid of it. I think she threw it up in the attic or something.
Oh, which is the worst place
Yeah.
to put it.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. So-
Well,
Come on, Mama.
a few weeks later, I'm going back through my toys looking for something. There's the Punky Brewster doll right back in the closet
And
again.
it wasn't in the attic.
No, she just told me that she put it in the attic.
And she put it right back in the same
in the closet. And then so I'm freaking out thinking this
And it
Punky
made its way
Brewster
down
doll
there.
done made its way back down, and it's gonna kill me when I go to sleep at night.
I mean, you know what I mean?
Did your mom do that on purpose? The question is, did your mom do it on purpose?
Probably.
That whole voice and him popping out of the casket. I'll throw a flashback where y'all Boy Meets World fans.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know I'll get my brother with this one. My brother's a huge Boy Meets World fan.
Yep.
I was a big Topanga fan. I didn't really watch the show though. I just liked looking at her when I was younger. But I was all about, with the whole TGIF stuff.
That's wild.
It's terrifying, absolute, because they're chasing down these kids the whole time and they're not stopping. And the one thing I don't like about it is the poor little puppy dog.
I fucking hate it.
It's
Hated it.
poor little puppy dog, and he did not deserve. If there was going to be one to get away, it should have been the puppy dog.
But they're not pulling. I know we don't care that kids die. We care that it's 100% true.
It's completely different
What?
with dogs.
It's different.
You know that.
It's a puppy
You know
dog,
it's
man.
different.
It's a movie.
You know it's different. I'm not talking about in real life. In real life,
Yeah.
I would not want to see I don't want to see either one die.
Yeah, I don't
Let me
either,
state that for the record.
Put that on stamp.
But
Yeah.
in this movie, fuck all them kids, dude. That dog should have lived, man.
That's not the first time I saw Jelly Roll involved in a wrestling angle.
Really?
Yep. He in Nashville, Tennessee. He almost laid the smackdown on Finley. Yep.
Really?
At
Hell
Crossfire at the
NWA
at the fairgrounds.
Crossfire?
Yep. At the
Really?
fairgrounds. Yep.
Now, here's
What
another
year was
thing.
that?
Probably 2012, 13.
If
somewhere
you can
around
find
there.
the card from that, see if R-Truth was on that card as well, because he used to
Possibly.
wrestle for NWA
Yeah,
Crossfire.
he was the NWA. He was the NWA.
So-
Of course, bro.
And another one around Christmas time that has to be brought up is Peter McAllister.
Yeah, so Peter McAllister.
What does he do for a living?
Well, I mean, if we're being real, he's not really a good dad.
Yeah, he left his son twice.
Twice, and he's kind of just there. I mean, he had all these kids. They don't ever like.
I think he's attached to the cartel.
He's got to be a part of the cartel. Because think
he's a
about how
money
much money
launderer.
they were spending on vacations.
Yeah, just flying the whole family out to Paris, flying the whole family. Just New York, just everywhere. Let's just take the whole family.
John Hurd, though, R.I.P. John Hurd.
John Hurd. What was crazy after seeing him as Peter McAllister, and then years later seeing him as the deadbeat detective in The Sopranos.
I got Taker and Angle for the WWE title. This was the American Badass Taker. Yeah, I think this version of Taker matched well with Angle.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine the slow moving
Yeah.
Undertaker with Kurt Angle and him being a machine.
Yeah.
But this one went well. You know, the finish to this one was cool because Eric Angle was actually hiding under the ring, and when Kurt went under the ring, Taker pulled him out, but it was actually Eric Angle, so he went to pin him, and of course, the referee realized that's not Kurt,
Oh, I remember that. yeah.
and then Kurt comes in and beats Taker for that.
We got the Poffo family, which obviously, you know, Angelo Poffo, father of Macho Man Randy Savage, and Leaping Lanny Poffo was the genius.
Yep.
You
Shout
know,
out to Macho Man for playing 6 years in the St. Louis Cardinals organization as a catcher.
Shout out to Macho Man, dude. One of the most iconic. Could you say the top 5 most iconic wrestling personalities?
Oh, by far.
The best promos
Yeah.
of all time.
Him and Mean Gene were a hell of a combo together
Yeah.
for those old clips.
We know who carried that, though, don't we, Chance?
Macho Man.
RIP to Mean Gene and RIP Macho Man.
yeah, greatness.
And Halloween Havoc 98, you have the Warrior and Hogan complete disaster.
Terrible match, man. It's
And the build-up for that match was just as
just
bad.
weird. It was weird because
It's the mirror shit. Like,
it
all
didn't
that
match
shit
the
was weird.
energy
That's what that
of
was,
the
right?
first
Yeah.
one. The thing I remember most about this was the Hogan botched the fireball.
Where he burned his mustache and eyebrows.
Yeah, I didn't. And then Warrior tries to sell it, but it was the worst. It was so obvious. He's over there trying to light the flash paper.
burned his
Bro, that's three different botches. Well, no, and just the big, like you had the botch at the Abdullah the Butcher. And then what was the other botch? There was another botch.
There's so many.
Then there was the fireball botch.
That was
And then the
actually
Great
voted.
Muda
That was
Mist.
voted.
Oh, yeah, the Great Muda Mist.
They just
So-
need to quit using fire. They shouldn't have never used fire.
That was voted the worst match of the decade. The whole buildup of Hogan being the guy, walking to the ring.
That Mean Gene didn't tell us about.
It's always Mean Gene, Chance.
Hogan.
The NWO is all his fault.
Yes.
If he would have just told us who that was, it never would have happened.
Yeah.
Well, so you get Hogan walking to the ring, and in the original, like I've watched the documentaries and stuff from the beginning, Bobby Heenan says a line, but whose side is he on? But if you go back and watch it now, that line has been omitted completely. And Hogan didn't change anything about his character other than wearing black, and his voice got deeper. That was it. It's still the brother. It was all this corny cliche stuff.
I think something that happened in our generation that didn't happen in previous generations is more adult themed cartoons like
Yeah.
Family Guy,
South Park.
One
Yep.
of my favorite shows ever.
You could kind of throw the Simpsons in there. I mean, they were a little bit more milder than
Yeah.
Family Guy and stuff, but that, you know, for that time, it was kind of more edgy whenever it first came out. And
Bro, I was obsessed with Beavis and Butthead.
yeah,
Oh,
Beavis
yes.
and Butthead.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
That's kind of what turned the curve. Like, because Beavis and Butthead was like mid-90s.
Mhm.
Then South Park started in 97. And when South Park came out, I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. 'Cause
Yeah.
They're saying they're not giving a fuck about what
Yeah.
they say.
They're just throwing it all out the window.
Yeah.
They've tried to get me to watch Seinfeld a couple times.
Tony said he watched 4 episodes of season 1, which is the worst version of. That's like the worst way to pitch Seinfeld to somebody.
We watched it. We watched 3 seasons.
I watched
of it.
5 seasons. I just,
Yeah.
I just didn't feel the need to finish it. But I just like I always just preferred The Office. If
That's
I'm
the
going to watch
one-
that
that-
style of humor.
That's the one that has the Dingo Ate Your Baby episode. Yeah, someone made that joke one time, and I was like, I'm going to go back and check it out.
What
Another
a weird thing to
Seinfeld.
go back and check out.
I've ever seen in my entire life.
I was a fan though as a kid, just mainly because of the set design
Yeah.
of Halloween. 'Cause that's one thing WCW did over WWE, especially in the 90s, 80s, and 90s. The set designs,
Yeah.
they'd go all out on those.
It was very themed. Like everything was themed. They'd run the commercials beforehand, and they had the videos. Like one I was watching had some kids show up at Tony Schiavone's house to trick or treat or whatever.
Yep.
They were very much in tune with the Halloween Havoc theme.
This is how shallow of a NFL fan I am. I didn't realize that Christian McCaffrey was Ed McCaffrey's son from the Denver Broncos.
I just found that out.
You
Just now
sure
when
you
said
didn't know that?
I did not know
I
that.
seriously did not know that.
I mean, I thought everybody knew that.
Well, shout out Ed McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Very solid receiver for the Broncos. His brother was a one of the best players to ever play college basketball at Vanderbilt, Billy McCaffrey.
Really? I did not know that
Yeah.
either. Wow, okay. We're just throwing that knowledge all around
When
the place.
Vandy went to the Elite Eight in like the mid-'90s, Billy McCaffrey was like one of the best players in the country. And he ended up playing overseas. I thought he was going to get to go to the NBA, but he ended up playing overseas. But that's crazy. I did not know Christian McCaffrey was Ed McCaffrey's son.
Yeah, I didn't know
That just shows how old we are.
Yeah. Would the ringmaster be considered a failed gimmick?
Very.
Absolutely.
Absolutely was.
I mean,
it never got over.
It never, and then, but it gave us,
It gave us
for it failing, it gave
GOAT.
us, us one of the greatest runs ever.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. You could argue one of. I mean,
I
to me,
think it's the greatest run.
of
I
all
think
time.
so. I think it's the greatest
But
run.
you can say it's one of. You can compare the
Yeah.
Hogan or
Because if you got to really
Cena
break
or
it
whoever
down,
you want to break it down. Yeah.
Because it wasn't long. We really
Yeah.
don't think about that. How short
wasn't-
that
yeah, it was
was
short.
97 to like 99. It was like 2.5 years.
But
bro.
man, it was so
It was the
fucking
biggest thing I've
fire,
ever seen.
dude. It's everybody talked. Everybody talked about wrestling then. Everybody.
Everybody.
I mean, the
For
TV.
sure.
Remember the TV guides that
Yes.
came out with like the
Him and
5 different
Sable.
TV guides
Yep.
that came out.
It was
Dude, it was just TV guides. What a
shout out the TV guy.
golly.
Shout out! I'll never forget whenever it went from TV Guide to where you could turn a channel on your TV
And-
that you could sit and watch what was going on. You had to wait an hour.
Man, absolutely.
for it to scroll.
To think that was just normal stuff back then. You look at it now, 20 years later. Think about the brain injuries these guys.
Well,
had.
have you ever heard the Taker and Randy Orton story about when Orton hit Taker with the chair shot and missed his head and hit him across down the face and cut the lip of the chair cut like down his forehead and everything. And Taker just looked at him and goes, "You got one coming to you." And then they had that Hell in a Cell match, and that's where Taker
Got his receipt.
got his receipts
Yeah.
on him and just was swinging for the downs on Orton.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, he busted him open. Like
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
and that was all receipts.
Yeah. Yeah.
After the 03 like Survivor Series, I feel like there was kind of I liked 05. 05 is another solid year in WWF. I just think TNA's in 2005 was so.
Don't do
That's-
Uncrustables?
No.
Oh man, Uncrustables! When
I
those
heard
came
they're
out,
good, like heated up though.
Oh, you could even pop them in the freezer. For
Yeah,
a little
that
bit
too.
Man, did you just chug that whole bottle of water right there? Holy shit, Bobby!
Shout out Crunchy Peanut Butter.
Do you like Uncrustables?
Yes.
Okay.
Now I'm the kind of guy that likes PB&Js. Now, I didn't like the crust on my bread when I was a kid. But I didn't make my mom cut it off. I
Yeah.
would just peel it off.
You just peel it off yourself.
Yeah. But I'm gonna be one of the ones that's in the minority on this one. Whenever Goober put them together in one jar, bring it on, dude.
Oh, yes, I know what you're talking
so
about.
much. People are like, "Oh, that's gross." I'm like, "Wait a minute."
You put it on a sandwich.
You're literally doing that yourself, and you're doing it in a longer form of a way.
That is a shortcut.
One that stands out to me was probably one of the most overhyped, especially for WCW. I think they went on like a 6-month promo package for Glacier. It's coming soon. Get
Bruh.
ready for the winter. The winter is coming.
They were clearly, though, expired.
Dude, it
Inspired by
failed
Mortal
after the
Kombat.
first promo.
No,
I think.
100%.
It fell flat after because they were going for that Mortal Kombat.
They
look.
did, because they had
It
3
was
of them.
96.
Wrath, Mortis, and Glacier.
Yeah, Glacier came out first,
Yeah.
and then Chris Canyon was Mortis, correct?
Yeah, I don't remember which one.
I don't
was
know who Wrath was.
I remember on Dark Side with the Chris Canyon's episode, they talk about Glacier in that one. don't
Yeah,
they?
yeah, because he was
He
Mortis.
Yeah,
Because
he's
the
Mortis.
whole packaging was kind of cool. He was like, "Where is this going?" You could clearly tell it was Mortal Kombat related.
Yeah.
But he was doing all the the karate stuff. All
Yeah.
that, and then he just came out with the fake snow and the flat top.
It fell hard.
Yeah.
But
he
I
was
think
a dope wrestler though.
instances that would go under this category would be the Stan Hansen and Vader match over in New Japan in 1990, where shit hits the fan as soon as Hansen's walking into the ring, swinging around that big ass bull rope, and catches Vader in the nose and breaks Vader's nose. Not even starting the match yet.
Yep.
Vader has a broken nose. So then, in retaliation, hard shots are given in, and his eye pops out in the middle of the match.
Yep, sure enough.
And he has to push it back in and just, Vader is involved in a lot of these instances that you can look up for this category. That he's just a tough motherfucker. To have your eyeball legit fall out and you just pop it back in there. and the swelling so bad. That's the only thing that keeps the eye in.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough motherfucker.
I would like to throw out terrorizing
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Known as now.
Triple H, the game.
Yeah.
Paul Levesque.
Yep.
WCW Saturday night, right?
Yes,
there.
dude.
Yeah.
That haircut of his, that Farrah Fawcett haircut he had going on.
Dude,
you
them
know?
locks, them Goldie locks.
Looking like
But-
an extra on a Mentos commercial.
Yeah. It was pretty much the same gimmick as Hunter Hearst Helmsley,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a terrible name.
WCW budget,
terrorizing,
which
just-
I
yep.
mean,
yeah,
what year was that? Was that 92, 93-ish?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Did he team with was it Regal or Bobby Eaton?
Yeah, no, he did it with the what was it like the
Blue Bloods?
Yeah, I believe you're right on that
Oh,
one. With
Regal. Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to the movie or the show Blue Bloods.
But was that in WWF or was that in WCW?
WCW.
Was it
WCW.
WCW?
Shout out
Okay.
to the Regal Beagle. Shout out to Jack Tripper. Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah,
Shout out Jack
yeah.
Tripper.
I mean, and then to find out what he turned into when
But he turned out okay.
He did all right for himself, I think.
If it was all legit.
If it wasn't legit, if it wasn't a work, I would have walked out with
Yeah.
Brett. I'm his brother. Like, you're going to do this to my brother. What are you going to do to me? I'm not even world champion. You walk out. I mean, you take the risk of getting sued or whatever, and you fight. You're like, I'm done with this. But they stuck around and they stayed.
Well, that and the whole thing too. When in the locker room, there's been many reports where Brett tells Vince, well, "If I'm out of the shower and you're still sitting here, I'm punching you."
The character was pretty bad.
Same with
but it
Matt
was
Bloom.
funny.
I mean, all of Matt Bloom's characters. What was it?
Prince
He's
Albert.
Lord Tensai.
Yeah, I had 10 on my list.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that hairy back son of a bitch, dude.
But he shaved everything off and came back with all the tattoos.
A-Train.
Yeah.
Yeah.
dude.
A-Train.
Was bad.
He had a dope finisher though. It was like
He's a
it was
dope
like a
wrestler.
driver.
It was bad.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he's still training too.
Lord
Yeah.
Tensai was terrible.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Nice
but they
one.
put a bunch of hype into that one.
Nice one.
But I
Yeah.
think Roman's best run has been as this
As a heel, yeah.
as this heel. But it's gonna turn. It's gonna be like The Rock. When The Rock, he was the ultimate heel right
Yep.
there, and then when that's like you said, the light switch turned on.
Did anybody watch SmackDown the other night?
I did.
Yes.
Did you hear that we want Roman?
Yeah.
real
They've been
loud?
yelling at for a
Yeah.
few weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he just got done. Well, when he's done filming a movie and everything.
It's
so-
genius, like how they've set this whole thing up because Solo has taken sole ownership of this bloodline thing, and they want Roman to come back because they know what's going to happen when he comes back. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Well,
know.
this is what the WWE's wanting is to get this babyface run out of Roman, and
They'll
it's
get
gonna,
it.
and it's gonna cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. I mean,
I-
I'll throw another talker off of Mr. Perfect. Is
Yep.
Kurt Hennig. What am I just that whole?
Oh, yeah.
And there's rumors around that role was offered. Terry Taylor had
It's true.
the options between Mr. Perfect or the Rooster, and he chose the Rooster.
This is true.
That right there should tell you all you need to know about the mind of Terry Taylor.
I'll dead Mount Rushmore episode.
a
He won't
booker.
be on it.
He was creative. He was. I mean, he's been part of that for years.
Yeah.
TNA,
Yeah.
And they offered that man Mr. Perfect and Red Rooster, and he chose Red Rooster. Now, granted, that's the way that the good Lord designed it because Mr. Perfect, there's nobody could have played that better.
Yeah.
than
No,
Mr. Perfect.
absolutely.
Exactly.
not.
Those
Absolutely not.
vignettes that he
And-
had
so
leading
great,
up.
man.
Yep.
And nobody could have been the Red Rooster better than Terry Taylor.
God, that's so. I ain't even
Perfect,
gonna
though,
attempt it.
one of
Ain't
the
gonna
best
attempt
ever.
it. Oh yeah, it's
Hands
just-
down.
yeah, like you said, those vignettes and everything. When those, and he could talk.
Yeah.
And he could go in the ring.
Exactly.
One
Most
of the greatest.
important.
Sound like you blew a speaker. You ready?
We're live.
Look. Bow. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chad Arms, a.k.a. Chatty Bobby. Oh, 40.
Man, it makes it tough for me every time. My name is Tony, aka Friday the 14th. He kept it simple, unlike us two on that one.
Keep it simple, kind of chance. This is episode 18. I think.
18. We're almost to
18.
20.
Look,
We're
you know
getting
what's
closer to
crazy?
drinking
Our
age.
podcast can go to war, motherfuckers.
We can.
Honestly, the pre-episode banter
It's fun.
is the best part.
Yeah, just rambling
It's the best part of waking up.
Ramble on.
Deja vu is in
Hey,
your
shout out to the ice cream.
cap.
I did eat 2 cookies, so
Oh,
there's that. That's a confession.
Whoa.
In the words of Aerosmith, we're living on the edge. You can't
But-
tell yourself apart.
But you can honestly.
But it was to celebrate.
Is this list in order of
It's
like,
not in
Chronological.
I don't know what word that was about to come out right there, but no, I didn't do it. I missed it again. It's not in by date. We'll just say that. I can't get that word out. What is it? What is the word called? Somebody help me out. Chance.
I would enjoy to help you, but it's not
You
going
know
to
how to
happen.
say it?
Chronological.
Thank you. It's not in that order.
He's the GOAT.
All credibility with Gene Okerlund that night, though, because he was outside of Hulk Hogan's door, and he's like, I can hear his voice. I recognize it, but I don't know who it is. Mean Gene, you know who that is, and you didn't tell us who that was?
Chance hot over here.
Chance,
Hot mic Chance.
Chance, look at your camera.
Yeah, look at the
Let
camera.
me tell you
Chance.
something, Mean Gene.
Look at him.
Look,
Get him. Get him, Chance.
We called that hotline all the time. We wanted the scoop, and you couldn't even give it to us. 99 cents a minute we paid. and you didn't even
$2
know.
the
You
first
didn't even
minute.
know. Yeah, didn't even
Don't
know.
look at me.
Didn't-
Tell him,
didn't
Chance.
even
Is Gene
know.
Okerlund still alive?
No.
No,
That was-
rest in peace.
Everybody's
Rest in peace,
dead.
Gene Okerlund.
Everybody's
Rest
dead.
in
but Hogan and Flair.
Martini. Mean
Hogan
Gene.
and Flair and Nash.
But if he was
Yeah.
here today, I'd put him in a figure 4 for that.
Question: If we all three went camping, just the three of us, if us three, Chance, Chad, and Tony, CCT, if it's a CCT camping excursion, who are we relying on?
Solo.
But we're trying to survive in the woods, and we got to survive for 2 weeks
2 weeks
in the woods.
in the woods.
Or is that a lot of time?
That's a lot. That's
week.
14 days.
2
We
weeks
don't
is
have that
14
many
days?
snacks.
Well, I'm in charge of the snacks. You let me be the judge of
You're
that.
gonna come with how many bags are you gonna carry? We're out in the woods.
And then what
Can
happens?
you Uber
If,
snacks to the woods?
then what happens if
Can
some
we have like a
psycho tries
Walmart
to kill us?
airlifted? We'll have to be out there like
Walmart airlift. They probably do that on the app somehow. You just fucking
we'll have to be out there like killing our own food and stuff.
Amazon airdrop.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Shout out to murdering your own food. I couldn't
Yeah,
kill an
we
animal.
gotta go
I'd
out there-
eat my own leg before I ate them animals.
We
leg.
gotta go catch some fish out in the stream and stuff. Deal with-
Okay, not 2 weeks. Let's say 3 days.
Okay,
So
but-
who's going to be the most reliable of the three of us? It's clearly not me.
Chance, can you start a fire? So
I can tie knots because I was in the Boy Scouts.
Okay, so we
Chance-
had that going
Chance
for
is the
us.
one in charge.
Yeah,
he was a
Chance-
boy
But
scout.
I was only in it for 2 weeks, just so I
Well,
could
that's
get
how long. That's how long. That's how. We would rely on Chance for everything.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would bring the snacks. Everything else
Is on Chance.
is on Chance. Moral of the story: we're not going camping.
No, we're not.
She was from ECW.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, because I thought I used to play with her on the ECW game. I think she was on the ECW.
You picked Jazz.
Yeah.
Picked her.
Yeah, she's iconic. What do you-
She is iconic.
I mean, yeah. Now that I read this, she didn't do much.
She didn't at
She
all.
was a 2-time women's champion, and
She held the NWA women's
Yeah.
title for 900 days.
that was probably with TNA.
Iconic.
WWF, WWE,
She held the NWA women's
Yeah.
title for 900 days.
900 days.
That's a lot.
That was probably with TNA. That'll
Iconic.
count.
Iconic.
The word is iconic, guys.
Yep.
She's in the same paragraph as Scott Steiner, The Rock, The Shield, Undertaker.
Funk, Flash Funk.
She's in the Wrestling Women's Hall of Fame, Women's Wrestling Hall of Fame also.
Okay,
Good for
you
you,
don't have to
Jazz.
keep pitching. You played with her as a character. You're a
Yeah,
fan.
shout out
That's
Jazz.
it. That's it. That
an
makes her all
icon.
kinds
Shout out Jazz. What would your finisher be?
My finisher. Well, I came up with my own little move. It's a submission move.
Okay.
I didn't give it
The
no
twack
name.
attack.
I didn't give it no name, but like he said, the twack attack.
I like it. Describe this move.
See, it's like you lay down on your stomach, right? But my knee is in between the back of your leg. Like the back of your knee.
Yeah.
Bent. You know what I'm talking about?
Almost like a reverse surfboard in a
Something
way.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That shit hurts for real.
Yes,
'Cause
it does.
I used to do it when I was little on my friends.
And see, that's how I was with my little brother. My little brother was 8 years younger than me, so
Yeah.
he was my wrestling move test dummy growing up.
Yeah.
So I tried everything out on him.
Yeah, I just messed my shoulder up. I powerbombed my son.
Threw it out.
Yeah,
Yes.
he big. My son 9, but he already was size 8 in shoe and
Yeah.
everything. Like, yeah, he a big 9, and he love wrestling. You feel me? So we was in there wrestling. I caught him with the power bomb, the double power bomb. Yeah,
CJ Graham,
your larynx.
CJ Graham was super cool with you one time. You just walked in front.
He grabbed me and was like, "Oh, what? You want to get a picture with me, you big motherfucker? Come over here!" And he grabbed my shirt. I thought he was gonna make out with me. But he didn't even buy me a drink first.
Yeah, but
that's
he's-
right after Steve Dash said what he said, and the universe did its
Yeah.
But it was
C.J.
okay.
Graham's super nice guy, and that's for the majority. Most
Probably
of these
should leave out the
actors,
Steve Dash stuff. Sorry, go ahead.
most of these actors in the horror genre are super nice people.
There's the
Bandit.
obvious choices,
Oh,
which
the
are the
wet-
wet bandits.
Yeah.
Right. But what? There's a lot of villains in Home Alone movies. Go ahead and tell us some more villains.
I'm gonna say Kevin McAllister's parents.
Yep.
Ooh,
I mean-
Hot take. You know, that's not even a hot take. His parents sucked.
Yeah,
yeah,
they were
they're
terrible.
very responsible.
As a parent myself, I could say I would like to think that I would never leave my son or my daughter.
Yeah.
But I would definitely never do it twice. It would never happen twice. Like I would make sure that, like, if nobody else got on there, they were gonna get there. Like that's a traumatic event, and his parents are just—they're awful.
They should,
Not to
DCS should be involved.
Yeah.
Not to mention his Buzz was a piece of shit.
Oh, Buzz was an
Yeah.
asshole too.
Kevin had nothing but dog shit. Uncle Frank, everybody
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah.
All of his siblings were terrible. He was alone in this world. What you got over there, Glitch?
Have you ever seen The Pursuit of Happiness?
Yes.
I saw it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen it.
So Linda, which is the wife, she's a terrible person, and just life in general. Life is just beating Christopher Gardner down, and
That's a good call.
but Linda could have been his downfall, but no, he rose above it and he became what he needed to be.
I like that.
Good call, Chance. I like
I
that.
see that one, and I agree with it 100%. Jenny
Get into
from
it.
Forrest Gump, you were the biggest piece of shit in movie history. You had an angel of a human being that would have done anything for you, and you whored yourself around on him. You went and caught AIDS and came back. I don't know how he didn't get it, or did he get it? I don't remember.
Good possibility.
They never said it.
And we didn't need to know.
You were a piece of shit, drug addict whore that cheated on your Forrest Gump, the greatest human being on earth.
Facts. Keep going. You got this.
And you're going, and then when
Just
he
re-
moves on with his life after you done fucked your way across the Midwest, West
Yeah.
Coast, now all of a sudden, oh, I miss Forrest. Let me come back to Forrest.
Yep. And then get pregos.
And then you have M. Night Shyamalan, Haley Joe Osment's kid.
Yep.
Jenny's for the streets, bro.
Fuck
For
you,
the streets
Jenny.
like a Maxima. Shout out to O&E.
And all Forrest wanted to do was love you. That's all he wanted to do. That's all he
You
did.
had him. I mean,
And Stimpy.
Yep.
And I love it. Like my young mind couldn't process what was going on
Yeah,
that show.
yep, yeah.
But going back and
Now
watching
it's
it now, I'm like,
totally
man.
dude, it was like Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was when that
Yeah.
started. You fat, bloated idiot. Dude, my brother had the talking Ren and Stimpy dolls. And Stimpy, you would pull his stomach and it would make a fart noise. And Ren you'd pull his little string and he'd say, "You fat, bloated idiot." That's all he would say.
Yes.
And then we'd make him fart. I mean, it was
Was
all we
Ren?
did for
What?
hours.
What were they?
Who
I
knows?
think it was a Chihuahua and a
cat?
cat.
Yeah,
Was it?
so
Okay.
Stimpy was the cat and Ren was
There's Boo Boo show.
Yeah, that's the only reason
What
I
am I
watched that
thinking?
movie.
You watched it on TBS.
Yeah, you watched.
I watched it after Monday Night Raw.
Absolutely show.
Yeah.
Okay,
there's a-
well, I regret to say that I'm wrong about that.
Yeah.
I didn't see the movie then. The uncut
There's no
one.
reason to watch the movie because the movie's terrible.
Well, yeah, who's watching it for the plot?
Yeah, it was like watching Species. That you only fast forwarded it to that one part, and that was it.
Dude, people seem to think that Shazam, isn't that what it was called?
Yeah.
With
With
Sinbad.
Sinbad
Yeah.
didn't happen.
It happened though.
Yeah.
And every time I try to look and see online, there's nothing. And everything that I see, it's VHS, and you're like, see, it's real. And then you look at the back, and it's fake.
It's a bootleg.
It's a bootleg. And I'm
No, it's
that's
not.
that's what I said, bro.
Dude, what I read recently that like Sinbad was on top of the world then, and he was on heavy drugs when they recorded that movie, when they filmed that movie, and he's literally like all his money and all his team and all his lawyers got that movie banned and got it where it never existed. Like it's a thing. There's a Wikipedia about that movie, and there are videos. There are videos you can YouTube about that. Right?
Yeah.
People
I
in
know
the
what I'm doing
store.
on the way
People are
home.
in the store holding the damn movie up. It existed.
Omar
That
Goody.
gangster. Omar Goody's the biggest fake gangster of all time.
He's going hard
He
lately.
thinks he is so hard.
He's making diss records.
How are
man.
you gonna be hard and you were in Wild and Crazy Kids? Don't you ever? You had a flat top and you were in Wild and Crazy Kids and your brother's radio. Miss me with the tough guy bullshit. Miss me with the tough guy bullshit.
Speaking of Wild and Crazy Kids, shout out Donnie Jeffcoat.
Yeah, he was a real
solid co-host. You had the
Almost
redheaded
had water
girl
come
offered
out
out
my
her name.
nose.
He can't. I'm not falling for that gangster shit. It's not happening here. No.
You got to admit though, he was great in Baby Boy.
Well, yeah, yeah. That's called acting. He's acting like a gangster, but now he tries to really be one.
He's been going hard lately. I'll
His
say that.
best friend sung "I'm Only One Call Away." That was Marcus on Smart Guy. Everybody thought that was Ray J that sung that chorus, and that was Jason Weaver. And that's his best friend on Smart Guy. Fuck Omar Gooding. Fuck him.
He has some of the greatest feuds, but the thing about Hogan's feuds,
He didn't put nobody over.
well, that, and you can't go back and watch them and be like, this is fucking dope. Like, I don't go
Yeah,
back and
yeah.
watch Hogan and Warrior, and I'm like, this is dreadful. Like,
Yeah.
Hogan and Macho
Savage
Man
was
for
the
sure.
only
Yeah.
one.
Oh, yeah.
That's my
And,
favorite
and it's
one.
so much because of Savage.
Yeah.
Being,
Because of Savage. Yeah.
Because like all the other ones, you got to think about like Hogan and Andre. Obviously, Andre can only work to a certain degree, and Hogan can't.
Yeah.
Work.
Yeah.
Hogan and Warrior.
It was
neither
very
one
limited.
So it's like,
Yeah.
Hogan and Savage for sure.
And I thought about those other ones, and I was like, no, I kind of stayed landed on Savage one. 'Cause that's the
Oh
one
yeah, that's
still-
that's my favorite one.
as an adult sticks with me still.
Shout out to Miss Elizabeth for helping out on that one a lot too.
Shout out to Macho
yeah.
Man
Yeah.
being so damn paranoid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because him being so paranoid is the reason why that feud was so good, because that man's real life paranoid.
A lot of people would say that Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania, but you could argue that Undertaker is Mr. WrestleMania. I would say that he is because he had the 21 win streak
Yeah.
before Brock Lesnar beat it. But I mean that's something that I don't think will ever be done again in the history of WWE.
No,
Yeah.
no, nobody will ever touch that again.
Yeah.
I think what was it? I think the match that started was a match against Superfly Jimmy Snuka,
Yep.
I believe.
I hate Jenny from
I know
Forrest
you
Gump
do.
more than I hate
She's the
any female character in any movie. She is the biggest piece of shit to ever walk God's green earth, dude. Forrest Gump was an angel on earth, bro. And she fucking gave him AIDS and fucked around on him and gave him a kid that she didn't take care of, that he had to take care of, and he needed to be taken care of. somewhat.
Exactly. Thank you.
And she tried to come back after he ran his bag up, and then here she comes, and she done fucked all of America.
I thought him meant
Fuck Jenny, dude. She should have flown far, far away as a bird. Dear God, make me a bird. Fly into a clinic, bitch. I hate Jenny from Forrest Gump, dude. Who the fuck she thinks she was?
Over the top with Chad and Tony, talking about movies and wrestling. Hot mic chest, Georgia team hating on me, Gene. BJ the DJ keeps the party going.